Hey, Meg.
Hey, Raina.
How do you put a baby alien to sleep?
I have no idea.
You rock it.
Okay, that was a good one.
Oh, that was so
That
dumb.
was a good one.
Okay.
That was a good one.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, alive. Alert,
It's-
awake, enthusiastic, I think.
It's been a week.
It's been a week. I tell you what.
I think I'm ready for summer break.
I think so too, but except for no, I'm not, because then my kids are home all the time, and I'm not ready for that.
See, but then I don't have to work, so...
See, I still have to work, but I am sending 2 of my kids away for a whole month to summer camp, so that'll be nice.
Ooh, we're going to record and record and record.
No, but I still have a tiny human who just won't leave me alone.
Oh, that's
So it's
right.
not like
There's
we
a
actually
third
get
one.
that. Yes, there's a
There's
third
a
one.
third one.
And she's the craziest, so
I forgot.
What are you typing?
What am I typing?
Yeah.
I'm looking up what order we need to do things in.
Oh, perfect. Because we don't know what we're doing yet.
What are we talking about today, Raina?
We are talking about sleep paralysis.
Okay.
So imagine waking up in the middle of the night, unable to move or speak. The feeling of being held down and something is even sitting on your chest,
I don't like it.
or possibly being choked. You're wide awake, you're looking around the room. You can see lights, you can see shadows. You're fully conscious, but you cannot move, you cannot scream, you can't do anything. And then all of a sudden, you're back to normal. That is called sleep paralysis.
No, thank you.
And it is something that many people experience and do not know why. And there are theories on whether it is, obviously medical has a theory, but also the spiritual world has a theory. And that's what we're going to dive into today.
I'm actually kind of excited about
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Well, I'm your host, Meg,
And I am Raina.
and welcome to Lunatic Soup.
You ready to brew up some soup?
I am.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right. So we're going to switch things up this week. I am going to be the main, like the storyteller, I guess.
Storyteller. I like that.
The storyteller. So we are occasionally going to switch it up like this. Meg is definitely the one with the whole writing background, and she researches stuff and whatever. And this is not my forte. But I do like the social media and the editing and the behind the scenes stuff.
We work well together because we really divvy this up.
Yeah.
Like, we seriously divvy this up.
Yeah, but we decided that it'd be fun for me to, like, every couple episodes do one that I do, especially because, like, our interests are slightly different. Like, you really love, like, the cryptids and
The
creepy and all that, where I'm more, like, into, like, we both like the hauntings and the ghosts. You like more historical stuff, while I like, witchy stuff and, like, more modern day spiritualist kind of thing, I guess.
We are your all-around podcast. We fit all your needs.
All of the needs, all of the Hot Mess Express. So, without further ado, here is sleep paralysis.
What about our cider?
Oh, shiitake mushrooms. That's what yep. Today we are drinking the Tart Cherry by Incline.
I think it's like an 8.1 or
Yes.
something. 8.1 ABV.
And it is delightful.
It is one of my absolute favorites.
It is tart and yummy.
Perfect with a lime,
And sour spot.
as we always do.
Yes, as we do. So we're enjoying this. And neither of us have had any wine before this.
Nope.
We also have our friend Carrie who's listening in today.
Hi, Carrie.
She's sitting here in the room with us taking pictures of us.
Say hi.
Hi.
So funny story. Not really
Yes.
funny, but
No, it is.
interesting. Like, that's how we all met.
Yes.
Because Raina's daughter and my daughter were put in Carrie's kindergarten class.
Yes, and she is one of the girls from last week, and our other friend Jess that we were talking about, that we all went away to the hotel when the
Yes.
lady tried to
Yes.
harm herself.
Yes.
Yeah. But so we all met because of this lovely teacher over here who had our children in kindergarten.
And then she had your second.
Yeah, she had my
and
second.
she had my third.
Yep.
And then she did us dirty and went to a different school.
So rude. She ditched out on my last kid.
Mine too.
Rude.
God damn it.
But instead, I kind of.
Yeah. Instead, we all became friends because I wasn't like close friends with her when my kids were in her class,
And I wasn't until kind of the end of COVID. Because
Yeah.
my daughter went into kindergarten during COVID. And best experience we could have had because of Carrie over here. I'm not
Yep.
going to say her last
Hey,
name.
I started with her in COVID, okay? I started halfway.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
then you
because you're-
finish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because
And
they're
I
a great part.
appreciate the liquor supply.
Yes, and we
We do
both of
give
us made
liquor to
sure
our
she had
teachers.
plenty of liquor. I brought whiskey to her house once, or scotch to drink.
I did something. I don't remember what.
Oh, I also gave her a bottle of champagne during the what was it? It was a parade of the teachers throughout the neighborhoods, and I ran up to a car and gave her a bottle of
I
champagne from
remember
Mimosas.
that. Okay, but this was really cute.
Threw a bottle in the window.
Yeah, through the window. I yeeted a bottle of champagne through the window to my kid's kindergarten teacher, you guys.
So this was really cool. We just have to tell this real quick and then
Yeah,
we'll get on to
yeah.
it. But during COVID, everything was locked down and our teachers did an amazing job doing remote learning. And what our school decided to do was to have a parade of teachers through all the neighborhoods where the kids went to school. And so we got to stand outside on the road and the teachers came by in their cars and they had banners
Yep.
and it was
It was
so
special,
nice.
especially because I think we all know the kids struggled the most in that, where their life just got flipped upside down.
Yes.
They didn't have school and things, so it was special.
They did good. Good job, Carrie. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
You made me feel so good. On
Well,
with
you're
the show.
amazing. Yes, on with the show. Back to sleep paralysis. So sleep paralysis is essentially where you wake up, you are fully conscious, and a lot of the symptoms are the same for people. They are unable to speak, to move, but they are fully alert. So your brain is fully turned on. You know that you're awake, but you're unable to do anything. A lot of times with it, there is also people sense a negative presence. This is what medical people say as well. This is associated with it, whether you're looking at it from a medical side or a spirituality
So this
side.
is a proven point of it.
This is a proven point of it. And there's 3 different kinds of sleep paralysis. There is intruder hallucinations, where someone believes that there's a dangerous presence in the room with them. There is, I'm gonna mess up the name of this, guys, but it's vestibular motor hallucinations, where it's the feeling of being outside of your body and looking down on yourself.
Okay. So like an outer body experience.
Kind of out of body experience.
Okay. We've heard of
And-
that a lot.
Yes, and then the chest pressure hallucinations, which is the feeling of suffocation. But from what I understand, the chest pressure hallucination and the intruder hallucination will sometimes happen at the same time.
So we talked about this a little last week when I shared my experience.
Right, yes.
So what do you think that could have
I
been?
do. I honestly, because I was re-listening to that because I was editing that episode today, and I do think that you were having sleep paralysis, and that's possibly there is something else going on, but that doesn't mean that something else supernatural was not there with you. And something else, but I do believe that you were probably having sleep paralysis. But you're saying
Okay.
you're screaming, but usually you're unable to scream. You try.
But I woke up the house.
Yeah, so
a little backstory. I was asleep. Something came onto my chest, was choking me. I screamed. My husband calmed me down, saying, "You're just having a dream." The next morning, though, I woke up and the blinds next to the bed were broken, but I hadn't thrown a pillow or anything.
Yeah. And so that is a standard. If people who experience sleep paralysis say they experience someone sitting on their chest. So that is probably one of the number one things. So this subject is, I would not say near and dear to my heart, but I've experienced it most of my life on and off.
That sounds absolutely terrifying.
It is. So my first experience with sleep paralysis was when I was about 14 years old. And so when I experienced it, I felt, woke up, was wide awake, and I felt the feeling of, I don't know that I necessarily felt that someone was choking me, but I felt the presence of someone in the room and pressure on my chest. And then I also remember hearing noises that to me sounded like chains. And so
Ooh, like
someone was literally chaining me to my bed is what I remember feeling like.
Like a Christmas Carol when
Yes, exactly like
and the
that.
chains.
Yes. And then next to my bed was this little terrifying looking old lady. And so obviously at 14, 15 years old, it scared the ever-loving shit out of me.
I think I know who this is.
We do know who this is. And it was one of the scariest experiences of my life. And luckily my mom was super supportive in this whole thing and got me a book by one of my favorite psychic mediums of all time. Her name is Sylvia Brown. Have you heard of her?
So, one of my very best friends, Emily, I believe she saw her daughter, Emily, if I'm getting this wrong, I am so sorry, but she saw a psychic last year. It was is Sylvia Brown dead?
Yeah, I think she passed away recently.
I think it was
Well, a
maybe
few years
her
ago.
daughter.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, she just was one of those mediums who just she put out a ton of books, and when I
Yeah,
started
I know
going,
who she is.
yeah, I started seeing things at a young age, and my mom, instead of like making me think I was crazy, fully,
Yeah.
and because she's always believed in this kind of stuff, fully like embraced it and got me all these books by Sylvia Browne. And in one of the books, it talks about what we're calling sleep paralysis,
Interesting.
but it's called, or she calls it in her book Phenomenon, astral catalepsy. So you're essentially doing astral travel into another dimension. So when you go to sleep, like the human, your body goes to sleep, your soul, your spirit, whatever is inside of you, doesn't sleep. And it travels to another dimension. And then while your soul is in this other dimension, your body is obviously asleep. And so they say sleep paralysis happens when your soul doesn't make it back in time and your body wakes up.
Okay, I have experienced something like that twice, not in a scary way.
No,
not
yeah.
in a weird way.
Yeah.
There's one time I went and there was somebody there that I knew very, very well. And it was like I was at this lake side and there was a hammock and we sat there and it was the most peace I think I've ever felt in my entire life. And then the second, I thought that was just a dream.
Yeah.
But then it happened again when my dog died. Like after my dog died. Burrito, who I had Burrito for 15 years. I literally got him when I was 18 and he died last year.
Mm.
And I was in the same place on the bank of the water, and here comes Burrito trotting up to me, and it felt real. It felt just as I'm sitting here talking to you.
Yeah.
That's what it felt. So after that experience, I'm like, ooh, maybe this is a real place.
Yeah, and I think it is. And so this is something that in the medical world, what they say is happening. First of all, doctors are still, they don't fully understand it.
Right.
Which to me,
they don't understand a lot of things.
well, and
Let's
to
be
me,
real.
it just screams that this is something that is happening, like the spiritual side of this. This is like, because they can't understand, they can't medically say what's going on. So it makes more sense that this is actually what like Sylvia Browne is saying, where you are astral traveling.
I like it.
I'm going to go
Can I
with
go
it.
somewhere I really want to go? Can I choose where I want to go?
That's a great question. I'm not, that's not for me. I don't know.
Where do I want to go? Where, if you could go anywhere, where would you want to go?
But, well, I don't know. I just go to where your soul is like back with all your soul family, like the people who you were. This will bring on a whole nother conversation about reincarnation and all the things.
If I could go anywhere, I'd want to go like somewhere in history, some famous point in history.
What the thing is, I don't know this for a fact, but I think what it's saying is that you're not going to like, your soul is not going to like another place on earth. You're going to
somewhere else.
Yes, yeah, from what I understand, but I also don't know that for sure. But it's above my pay grade, okay? I don't really know.
Why don't you know?
Because I don't, because I'm just, don't know. I'll let you know the next time I do it, because I have it, I've done it. I've had sleep paralysis probably like 10 times in my life. Most recently last year when I was going through my spiritual awakening.
That sounds terrifying.
Which they do say, like, I went to see a medium, same medium that you saw, Cass
this
Huff.
is a different story.
Yep. And Cass told me, she's like, you've experienced a lot of sleep paralysis. I was like, yes. Mm-hmm. And she said, that's because when you're going through spiritual awakening, a lot of times that happens. And then she was also like, this happened to you when you were 14 and you saw a lady called the Old Hag. And I was like, ooh. I did see a lady called the Old Hag. And then and then she says to me, it's funny because I had someone come in 2017 who also had been seeing the Old Hag, and I haven't seen it up until now I see you. And I was like, that's weird, because my friend Meg, who referred me to you, saw her in 2017, and she told her that she was seeing the Old Hag.
So I went, and I remember it was 2017 because I literally went on my husband's 30th birthday. My mother-in-law was in town for his birthday, and we went to a psychic fair, and we sat down with Cass because she was the person that my mother-in-law had researched, and we went and saw her, and she's a wonderful lady. Mm-hmm. Really incredible abilities.
We will put her in show notes or something, because I actually know a bunch of people who have seen her. A bunch of people I went to high school with had seen her, and then you had referred me to her, and then my therapist actually also had seen her and referred me to her, me not realizing it was all the same medium that everyone was referring me to.
Carrie, wasn't that your therapist?
Yes.
Carrie and I share the same therapist. Well, I am no longer in the therapy anymore, but it was
all connected.
And she's amazing. She also is going to come on and do an episode with us about
your therapist.
About therapy and tarot, because
I'm really excited.
Yeah, and she's really cool and has some fun ideas.
Yeah. So anyway, back in 2017, I went and she told me about. She stopped and she goes, "Oh, you saw the old hag when you were really little. And I started crying because I remember this experience very vividly. An old woman next to my bed scared the shit out of me. And Cass said she apologizes for scaring you. She didn't mean to scare you. She wanted you to know that you have the abilities and you don't need to be scared.
Yes. So the old hag herself is someone who actually commonly comes up in sleep paralysis stories. So, and a lot of times people describe her as like sitting on their chest. And
she was next to my bed.
Yeah, and for me too, she was next to my bed. She wasn't like on top of me. But she's terrifying.
Terrifying.
So in my research in this, there's different theories on like whether she is someone who's bringing good or bad. Right. And I think it depends on who you're talking to, what perspective they're coming from. But when I had Cass tell me about her, it was all from a positive light. And then so when I researched it, and I researched like old hag with spiritual awakening, or essentially is when you're coming into your abilities as like a medium, or which is like what both of us have the abilities in, clairvoyant, claircognizant, something like that. She's basically helping to guide you. She's there when she's trying to like help you through it. And she presents as terrifying, which is...
And I think she presents as terrifying so that if you can get used to her, you won't get scared of the other things that are out there.
Right.
That's what I took from it.
I mean, I never thought of it that way, but that's a great perspective because it was one of the scariest things in my life. I didn't sleep for a while after that.
My daughter has seen them.
She has?
Yeah, my oldest has seen the old hag. This was just a couple months ago. She said she was dreaming and she was in a car and all of a sudden this really old, really horrifying, scary woman popped up in front of the car.
Interesting.
And I told her, did she look like this? And she said, yeah. I said, well, that means that you have abilities just like I do. Yeah. I've seen the old hag when I was probably close to your age. Raina has seen the old hag when she was close to your age. So she's nothing to be afraid of. If you can get used to her, you can handle what's coming.
No, definitely. And it's like she is just commonly associated with sleep paralysis. And so I do think that a lot of people who experience sleep paralysis are going through some kind of spiritual awakening that they don't know and understand. And not everyone ends up with having abilities of like being a medium or even things that they're conscious of their abilities. But most people have abilities. They just don't know how to tap into them.
I think the majority of people do have abilities.
I think everyone does. It's just whether you figure out how to or want to or
because I was one of those people that was I had to really shut it down, and that's for another day. But
and I did too. It scared me so badly, and that was Cass told me that. She's like, you shut it down because when you were younger because it scared you. And I was like, that is accurate, because all the way through college, like I would have things that I would acknowledge, but I also was like, people start to think you're crazy when you tell them they literally think you're insane. And it was like, I was in a sorority. I wasn't going to go around being like, I see ghosts and I talk to dead people. And
I was brought up in a very religious household and with a very religious community. I couldn't, because I was literally told it was the devil.
Yeah. And so I actually was raised in a religious, not my parents, but my grandma. I would go to church with her and my whole dad's side of the family. And, I think the biggest fear of us discussing this kind of thing is any of them hearing this and thinking that like I have something with the devil, even though I don't believe that's
not
true.
To say that all religion is counter to
no
this,
not at all, but just the ones that I grew up in is, and it's what it
and
is.
You Carrie
She was just telling us downstairs that do you care if I tell the story, because it was so funny? Back in the day, I got these drinks for my kids called Clearly Canadian. So if anybody remembers those, there's these delightful, like bubbly, like sparkling waters that are so good. And there was another one that was a different brand, but it was still a sparkling water. And because it looked like it was alcohol, her church said she couldn't drink it. So this rebel over here,
if it looks like a duck, and acts like a duck,
it quacks like a duck. It's a duck. So this rebel over here was telling us she'd sit in a church parking lot drinking the sparkling water that looked like alcohol. Crazy. So rebellious. But it was, though. That is rebellious.
That was what it was, yeah,
for sure. Just insane. Anyways, okay. So before we fully get into the other things, I just want to say what the medical world says that this is. Because obviously, if you are not a person who believes in the spiritual side of things, you might be like, these bitches are crazy.
And I think with anything we have
lunatics.
to go, I mean, we are. But with anything we have to, like when you go into a haunted house, you have to say, okay, what is a logical explanation for this? Is the wiring off? Is there carbon monoxide? You have to rule that out first.
Anytime something weird happens in our houses, we look at that too. Yes. Like try and figure out, okay, could this be something or is it something else? Anyways, so according to WebMD and a few other sources that I looked at, essentially what doctors say, it's just when you are coming in and out of your REM cycles, so your rapid eye movement cycles, is when this happens, and it happens to people with sleep apnea and narcolepsy.
Interesting.
To me, that doesn't add up because the amount of people who experience this
Don't have sleep
and especially
apnea
at
or
such a young. I
narcolepsy.
didn't have sleep apnea at 14 years
Yeah.
old, so, and I don't have narcolepsy.
Are you sure?
No, but my husband's aunt does.
Oh, should we be laughing about that?
Oh, it's just Aunt Susan. His little brother always triggers her, and she like just.
No!
But except for the shitty thing is I've never seen it. I
my
always just hear the
gosh.
stories. Like I'll be in the other room and it'll happen and I'll miss it. I mean, the family kind of jokes about it. Aunt Susan, if you hear this, I'm not laughing at
We
you.
love you, Aunt Susan.
We're laughing
I have
with
an
you.
Aunt Susan. We love you, but
Yeah.
it is kind of comical.
Anyways, yes. Anyways, back to the show. So that is what the medical world kind of says, but it does say in a lot of things that they do not fully understand it, and especially the things that come along with it, because there's a lot of consistency with what comes along with it, and that is the part that is what it is. And so with that, I will bring up the beings that people see. So we've already said the old hag.
Ooh, I know some of the beings.
And that's what I'm hoping that you have some input on this. So, the old hag, gremlins,
Oh.
lots of hands, which, quickly, side note before I get into the other one, they say that Freddy Krueger was actually based off of someone's sleep paralysis.
I could totally see that.
Because the hands that go around the door, and they're saying that, so sometimes people see like multiple hands on a door or something like that, which is wild.
I wonder
and
if
terrifying.
these things all signify something. Do you think they signify something
They-
that's happening in life?
They could, because that's another thing where
Interesting.
it's, you never know. But then the last one, which is, I know we talked in the last episode about shadow figures, like how I see shadow figures a lot.
Yeah.
But a very common shadow figure that is seen when this happens is called the Hat Man.
The Hat Man. That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. So the Hat Man is like a demon entity,
Supposedly.
from my understanding. And there's lots and lots and lots and lots of reports of people with sleep paralysis who see a shadowy entity dressed in an old top hat or like a fedora type
Yes.
hat. And he acts like a ghost, almost always seen in like a doorway of some sort. And he doesn't seem to have a reaction to people.
No.
And some people see eyes, some people don't. Some people just see the shadow figure, but he always has a hat.
And he's always, like, or not always, but he's also seen in the background of photos from people, like,
Oh,
near
yeah,
death and
he
stuff like that.
is.
So he is something that is around. I also, you guys, TikTok is basically news for me, okay? It's where I learn a lot of my information. And I actually went down the rabbit hole of the Hat Man, and a lot of them were saying that Benadryl induces people seeing the Hat
I
Man.
have heard that.
Yeah, which is wild.
Interesting.
So taking Benadryl, so I'm no longer taking Benadryl to sleep ever. It also supposedly induces Alzheimer's and dementia. So,
Benadryl?
yeah, like if you take it to sleep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's supposed to like
Oopsie daisy.
mess with your brain. Yeah, so don't do that. That's why I take my edibles, you know? It's from planet Earth.
We should put pictures of the Hat Man.
We will.
up.
We'll put
Look at
pictures of the
those.
Hat Man, and I have a few like sleep paralysis pictures. I actually have a TikTok. I gotta see what the relevance of it is now because I saved it to show Meg because I was like, damn, that's scary.
But something that's interesting about the Hat Man is he has like some substance. Like people have touched him or have been touched by him.
If you research Hat Man, he is not just associated with sleep
We
paralysis.
could do a whole episode
probably
just
on him.
on the Hat Man.
But yeah, he seems terrifying.
But then I've heard people where he's not terrifying. Like there's a podcast that I listened to where the host had an experience with the Hat Man, and he just kind of was wandering around the house, and it wasn't scary or anything like that. But I think for the majority, it is a scary situation.
And I think it's also what would be the same with the old hag, where it's terrifying because you're asleep. And in the sleep paralysis state, like that is the most terrifying thing because you cannot move or scream, but you're conscious. And so no matter what you see during that time, that's fucking scary.
If you can't move, my second daughter actually had an experience with sleep paralysis. She told me about this probably maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
She was awake. Like she said she was awake in her bed and there was a little girl in her room. Mm-hmm. And the little girl was coming closer and closer, but she couldn't move. She could just watch her. And the little girl just came up and gave her a hug. And then vanished.
So I'm guessing that was sleep paralysis because that is like very much, because every time I have it, there's usually some sort of like spirit or someone around. Sometimes there's not, but I always have like kind of louder noises.
Okay.
And it's the terror of like being awake and not being able to talk, move, scream, all the things wild. So that is it, keeping it on a like lighter level. There is obviously some darkness to this where there are theories that, you know, there are demons involved and da-da-da.
See, I feel like the Hat Man is pretty demonic.
But, and I do, like I said, I feel like, and so that old hag is described also as demonic, can be, but, you know, I think it's whatever. So I did find this video on TikTok.
Oh no, do I have to watch it?
Uh-huh.
Oh shoot.
And so I'll probably duet us watching it and then repost it on our Instagram and TikTok for everybody to see.
So we're going to duet it right now?
Yeah, we may as well. Should I do it
Let's
right now?
do it. Let's do it.
Oh, wait, hang on. Okay, so let me pause. Okay, so we're going to watch this. So it's a thermal camera who's
asleep in there.
Yeah, there's someone asleep and there's a thermal camera capturing it. It takes a while to get into it, okay? It has 5.5 million views. It's a lot.
This is obviously somebody who's had sleep paralysis and set up a camera.
Yeah, who's experienced it regularly or something. So you can see the orbs kind of going through. Now look. See the thermal camera?
Lord.
And see him like...
Oh my God.
Look at that.
There's like a creature creeping. Oh my God. He's like coming up on top of him. Oh my God. I can't
and like
handle this.
strangling him. So like again, right now during this clip, it's just showing the camera. It's not showing what's happening behind. So that makes me, you know, that gives your
skepticism.
And so like this says, is this undeniable thing that demons are associated with like sleep paralysis events? I think no. But it is something to entertain because that is another theory on like sleep paralysis and that dark entities are involved.
But what it showed there when it showed the thermal imaging of somebody on top of somebody on their chest choking them, that is what I felt.
Yeah. And that's
That
why
is
I
what
feel
I
like
felt.
it could have been something. And I never want to say something is fully good and not evil because we don't know. We don't know. And we don't know the things that are out there. This is all like based off of experiences and what we think. But like in watching that, Carrie, what did you think of that?
That was pretty creepy.
Isn't that terrifying?
That is really creepy.
But,
and again, you couldn't see the imaging of the camera in the bed. You just saw the thermal imaging.
yeah. And so it's one of those things where it's like you have to take it with a grain of salt. But at the
Right.
same time, like, that's a big grain of salt.
But it depicts what everybody has experienced.
And like I've said, having experienced it multiple times, it is terrifying. And you do feel like there is something evil involved no matter what. And that is also what medically they say, is that you experience something evil involved.
Yeah.
Like that's what your perception, no matter what and who goes through it, is that they feel like there is something dark, and it makes people think they're getting possessed. It makes them think like, so it has like a serious psychological effect on people when it happens.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And so then people start to question things and go, and then they'll go to their doctor and they're like, oh no, it means you're overtired, or you might have narcolepsy, you might have sleep apnea, and they'll give you those things and probably give you sleep medicine and knock you the fuck out, and then the Hat Man comes to see you.
Do you remember when you were super sick and the ER told you that you were just an exhausted mom?
Oh yeah, that
You
was
remember
really
that?
fun. That
Do
was
you
a
remember
great
that?
time. That was a great time. I was like sick and dying, and my mom finally
For
made me go to the
weeks.
ER. And he goes,
Weeks.
I just think that you're a tired, exhausted mom. And then I went to another doctor, and they're like, we think you have leukemia. And I was like, awesome.
Oh!
Good news, guys. It
That
was
is-
neither.
it was a wide
They still
range.
don't know what it is.
Wasn't it mono or something?
It was mono. Well, they think, it was mono and something else. But yeah, no, they just told me I was exhausted mom with 3 kids.
You're just too tired.
And I was like, bitch,
You're
my
just too
kids sleep
tired.
through the night. Actually, it was a man, so it was even fucking worse. And I was like, my kids sleep through the night, and like, yes, are they a lot and exhausting?
Yeah.
But like, I have been through exhaustion. This was not it.
You don't have newborns.
No. Oh.
That's a whole nother conversation of
That
the
is-
sexism that is built into our culture.
Oh, it sure is. I
Yes.
like to throw in the sexist comments every now and again. Meg always looks at me, but I always make them because I'm like, I love my husband, but men are just idiots sometimes. And if
mean-
you're a man listening to this, I apologize, but like, you have to know it. No?
No, yes.
I guess not all of them realize it.
I love men, the ones in my life,
Yeah.
but men together in a group?
They're rather stupid.
Yes.
Has anybody, well, do you guys remember Mary Poppins? The original.
Oh, yeah, what
And
was
she's like,
it?
we're merely soldiers in petticoats. dauntless crusaders of women's votes. I sing this to my girls all the time. And
Beautiful. Keep
but
going.
then,
Keep going.
though we adore men individually,
Individually.
we agree that as a whole they're rather stupid. And so my girls will sing that with me all the time. And my mom used to sing it to me. And it's like, so because I have 3 daughters and we run around the house singing that. And
Yep.
my husband just takes it and is like, yes, I know. It's fine.
I'm gonna just throw this in. I think we need to invest in a thermal camera.
Oh, we need a thermal camera. I think, okay.
Carrie!
In the forest, we feel it. You in the dark.
Okay, so if you can't fully hear what Carrie just said, in case, she said we need to invest in a thermal camera. Now, after listening to our multiple episodes, everyone will know that
Raina says no.
Raina says no because Raina's like, I don't want to fuck with it.
I want to
But
fuck with it.
fine.
I want to touch it.
Do you? You want to touch it?
I literally just texted my
I almost
mother-in-law
just said
today.
Bigfoot's dick.
I have family that listens to this, okay?
That's their problem, not mine.
Truth.
Just kidding. Sorry.
sorry.
It'll probably get cut. We'll find out. Depends on how sassy I'm feeling when I
No,
edit.
we need to get all the equipment that we can because we got to go on some adventures. In the
We'll see.
woods, in hotels.
Okay, what were you going to say about your mother-in-law? Now I'll keep it clean.
Oh no, she just sent me some info on a good recorder for getting like entity voices.
Mm,
EVP.
yeah.
That. Because
Great.
I was asking her, and she's like, "Get this one. Don't get this one. This
I-
one doesn't work." She's been doing this for years.
Yeah, I have there's this girl on TikTok that I follow, weird, I keep going back to that. And she has an app on your phone that like I downloaded it when we were at the Minrace like castle. And it was one of the ones that we were messing with. Do you remember? I had one on my phone and it didn't get a lot because we didn't get a lot, but I like have been wanting to do it here with Pickle Rick. The Ghost in My
Oh,
Closet.
I've got some good stuff we could use with that.
But I still feel like we got to start there and then go from there. But
start with Pickle Rick.
yeah, I feel like start with Pickle
Okay,
Rick.
we can
Like
start
maybe
with
we can
Pickle
all
Rick.
just like come and sit in my closet, like bring Carrie and Jess, and we'll just sit in my closet and
Get in that closet.
Yeah,
Get in
well-
it.
talk to the ghosties. Anywho.
Why not?
Oh God. All right.
Moving
so,
on.
And back to sleep paralysis. So I mean that's basically the whole thing. Like I've gone through all of it.
Yeah.
For the most part. So it's something that you have to kind of decide like where you think. What you think it is, and if you haven't experienced it, it's hard to like.
It's hard to describe, and I don't know if I fully experienced it, but I think I get the gist
Yeah.
of it from what I have experienced. There was a couple years ago, I think it was during COVID, I had just had a baby, and it could have been explained with
Sleep deprivation. You were exhausted, tired mom.
exhaustion,
Yeah.
going through a pandemic, having all my kids at home, trying to school them or help with school with them and teach and all these different things. And I woke up in the middle of the night and there was a full-blown old woman, not the old hag, just a different woman, standing next to my bed. And at this point in my life, I was accepting.
Right.
And I literally remember looking at her and saying, I'm too tired for this shit, and going back to bed.
But I do feel like if you have encounters with the other side, that sometimes you do hit that point. Like if you have ghosties in your house with
Yeah.
spirits, that you do all of a sudden you're like, I'm too tired for this shit. Like I'm
Yeah.
done.
There's times when I look out my door and I see beings going back and forth from the door, from the laundry room to the hallway, back and forth, and I just literally
That's funny
verbally
because I always
say,
see mine go like basically laundry
like
room
that.
to there. Yeah, always.
And I literally will verbally say, just stop.
No.
I can't tonight.
No, that's what I'll say too. One time we were in Sausalito, California. I was photographing a wedding with my sister and my best friend. And we were staying in this beautiful hotel, but it was definitely like...
Is this when you met that actress last year?
I met Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner.
She sat next to
Lovely
us
woman.
at dinner, and God, you guys, she's just as prettier in person. So freaking nice. And just...
I was living through you at that time because I was in bed with COVID at
Yeah.
that time, and you were sending me videos.
It was very cool. And she sat next to us at dinner, and when she got up to leave, we were like... We talked to her and got a picture with her, and she was so nice. And she's like, I'm just sorry you guys had to watch me shovel pasta in my face.
I mean,
and,
I want a friend who will shovel pasta in their face.
but
so
she was
this is
there
good.
filming her new show. If anybody it's on, I think it's on Apple TV or something, but she just came out with a new show that's filmed in Sausalito, California.
Oh,
So
cool.
if you know Jennifer Garner, follow her, whatever. I'm going to watch the show because I met her while she was there.
Let's
it was cool.
do it.
Anyway, so it was at this hotel that's a very old hotel, and it's in like the gold mining area of like where things would have been happening in San Francisco back in the day.
Never
Like,
been to San Francisco.
It's wonderful.
I need to go.
It's beautiful.
Like many things.
Yes. But when we got to this hotel, it's like built on a hillside. It's all stairs. There's like no elevators. It was like a shit show. We were in this beautiful room, beautiful view. But the second I got there, I was like, there is a lot of energy here. Like a shit ton of energy.
Oh, I remember you texting me and telling me this.
There's a lot of energy. And so we had finished shooting the wedding and we're sitting on our bed drinking wine. And there's another room. And in the other room, we had the light on. And you, like the master bedroom open to it. And all of a sudden the light turned off. And we were like, what the hell? And I get up and there's this like old gold mining looking dude just like standing in the entryway that, I mean, obviously I saw, no one else could really see him. And he like literally is like, I just want to hang out with the pretty girls. And I was like, that is so kind of you, but please could you go away? Could you kindly be gone? Thank you, sir. I was like, thank you, we appreciate the compliment, but please get out of our room.
Goodbye.
And turn the light, but I made my sister go see why the light turned off first because I knew it.
You knew it.
I knew it. I was like, go check the lights. And she's like, I don't know why it's off. It just turned off. And I was like, yep. And
I think that's something that once you find people that experience the same things,
yeah,
you feel very valid, because I've always experienced things like that.
Yeah.
But I grew up in an environment where you can't.
No.
You cannot experience things like that.
Yeah.
If you do, that's something really, really bad. You couldn't talk about it. You couldn't, nothing.
Yep.
So once you find people that get it, that's a huge deal.
It is, and it makes you feel like more like accepted and not such a
Lunatic.
pariah. Oh,
Lunatic.
lunatic. We are a
lunatic.
And here we are. And then you find a friend and then you all become lunatics together.
And then
we're
you
just,
make a podcast and it becomes really popular,
And then you
and
just
all of
have
a
a-
sudden you're touring,
Yeah.
right?
And we're just a group of lunatics. So if anybody wants to be lunatics with us.
That's going to be our group, the
Yeah.
Lunatics.
Yeah, that's the lunatics.
Follow us on Patreon. We don't have one yet, but we will.
We will eventually. But it also brings us back to what we say at the end of every show. That if you have an experience,
Yes.
tell us. We want to know. Like
Everything. I think this is our 4th episode.
Yeah.
We've had different variety of episodes. We are casting a wide net because this is all the things that we love.
Yeah.
We don't want to stick to just one thing.
Yeah.
We want a variety of things. If you fall into those categories, or if you like those things, or if you've experienced those things, we want to know.
Yeah, and we would love to like do an end of episode, like read your story out loud, do whatever. We've recorded so many in the last like week and a half just trying to get episodes out that,
Yeah.
you know, I feel like we're going to get some in soon, and I'm
Oh
super
my gosh,
excited.
I'm so
but
excited.
I especially want to know, like, have you had sleep paralysis? Are you a person who does not believe in the supernatural, but you've experienced sleep paralysis and it's left you questioning, like, what the hell just happened to me? Because...
Yeah, and I don't think I was old enough to really know that was sleep paralysis that I've experienced.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear from somebody like you.
Right.
You remember it. You understand what that feels like. I want to hear from some people.
Yeah,
like
and
you,
the only
like
reason
that.
I knew is because my mom, like I said, she like got me the books and found it, and it was like it was a very validating experience at that age to be like, okay, that's what it was. I'm not losing my ever loving mind, because then you tell your friends and they all think you're crazy at 14 years old that you see ghosts, and they're like, oh yeah, you see ghosts.
You see dead people.
Yeah. And then you're like, no, I don't. I'm just crazy.
We're not we're lunatics.
Yeah, we keep going back to
And
that.
I want to be a lunatic.
I always
do.
want to be a lunatic.
I want to be a lunatic.
It's much more fun to be a lunatic than it is to be normal.
And you know what? The way that I grew up and how I had to hide everything and not understand it, I have made a point to make sure my daughters know differently.
Yeah, and mine too. And
That's why my kids aren't afraid of ghosts, because they know they're just people that have passed on that love you.
yep, and that's what I try and instill that in my kids too. Although my middle one, if we start talking about it, she can't handle it. She's like, stop talking, I can't listen, like she won't sleep. So we're working on it, baby steps.
Eventually. Mine are all pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially my 2 older ones. My second one,
But
holy crap.
yours is something you've probably been talking about with yours for a while.
Yeah.
Mine has been in the last like year and a half. Everything has started coming up for me, and so it's been a very new thing.
Their grandmother has literally been featured in books.
Right.
You know?
Very different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
So I'm very
mine's newer.
fortunate to have that family lineage.
You do. That's so cool. I wish that, most people who are going through it had that. Like someone behind them being like, yeah, this is real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes back centuries. And
Yeah.
my husband's family, although he'll deny it,
Well,
up and down.
that's men for you.
Then you talk to his mother.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I think that wraps up this episode.
Well, we need to give, we're on at lunaticsouppodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
And we're at Lunatic Soup Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok.
And again, we might
This
do
weekend,
Facebook and Twitter, which, I'll get there.
Shut up.
Instagram's just as bad as Facebook, but also like
It's the same company.
I just will repost
But
everything.
we're gonna start really ramping up the tickety talk. Not that it hasn't been great because I love everything that's been put out, but we just haven't had time to get together.
Y'all,
to do
we
these
busy.
things.
We both have full-time jobs.
7
and
children.
mothers.
7
and
children
life,
between us.
And
The laundry itself.
I know. I spent literally an hour today doing laundry, but I did it while I watched Vanderpump Rules, which I don't think. Do you watch Vanderpump?
No, but I actually listened to the podcast that what's her name is on that show.
Which
and
one?
I listened to her podcast
You
called
say-
7 Deadly Sinners. I don't remember her
What's her
name
name?
at this point.
Kristen? I don't know. I don't remember all of the or what their podcasts are.
Hang on. Rachel O'Brien. She
Let me
was
see
on
your face.
Vanderpump Rules in like one of the early episodes.
Oh yeah, she doesn't count.
No, she does.
Okay, yeah,
Don't
she can. She's kidding.
discount her.
I'm just
she
kidding.
has
I'm
an
just
amazing
okay.
podcast.
No, what I'm saying, I thought you were talking about she was one of the main cast members.
Oh, I've never seen the show,
Yeah.
but I just know she's talked about it.
Well, if you know anything about what's going on right now, they've
I
had a
don't.
whole thing where a relationship got broken up because this
Oh
one
God.
this 9-year relationship got broken up because this one girl cheated or had an affair. It was like a whole thing.
We shouldn't do
Anyways,
that.
Scandival. Everyone's up in arms about it.
Also, this is a great podcast. It's called
Okay.
7 Deadly Sinners
All right.
with Rachel O'Brien.
But it does. It's like cool. Like cool. That seems like it'd be cool.
I really love culty stuff,
Yeah.
but I don't think that fits into our genre because
I
that's
don't
more of
think
the
so.
true crime.
I do find cult stuff interesting, but yeah, we're trying to stay away from like the true crime shit.
Yeah,
More
because
like
we want more of the supernatural, the paranormal, the
the
spiritual.
unknown, the things that are not proven to be true,
Yeah.
but we have to question if they are or not.
I've got some really good episodes coming up that I'm excited about. The next full moon is a strawberry moon,
When is that?
June 3rd. So probably around June
Yeah.
1st or 2nd, we'll release that episode. I'm super excited about that one. I worked on that one yesterday and today. I also have one on Litha, which is the pagan holiday, midsummer,
Okay.
summer solstice. Super excited about that one. So that just kind of gives you a glimpse into all the different things we're going to talk about.
Yep, bring
I
up
also have
some-
some witchy stuff
I was
and
just
some
about to say
ghosty stuff.
witchcraft is definitely one that's going to come up because that's something that I want to talk about because I feel like it's
Cryptids.
severely misunderstood.
Oh, absolutely. And
Yep.
then we got cryptids and
Always the
lore
cryptids and yep. So anyway, stick around with us. You know, it's going to be a good time like
it's gonna
always.
be awesome.
Get yourself some lunatic soup.
Lunatic soup.
Not if you're driving,
Not
but
if you're
when you get
driving.
home.
When you get home, after a long day, turn on the TV. Vanderpump Rules, apparently.
Get a sour slut for that because that's the girl that is sour slut. I'm just kidding. I don't call anyone a slut. That was wrong.
Except ourselves. Raina.
She's real naughty though.
Tiss.
If you her name's Raquel on the show. Real name's Rachel. It was a fake name.
Not Rachel O'Brien.
And then she
from
broke up a
7 Deadly
9-year
Sins.
relationship, and had an affair in the show. She fakes being friends with everyone. She's a sociopath.
You
It's
know what I
crazy.
watch?
What?
Sister Wives.
I mean, I do fucking love that too. I love Sister Wives.
I really hope they do a new marriage special with Christine.
They have to.
They have to. Christine, if you hear this, we love you.
Did you see the post that she did where, because Cody had said that he disgusted the shit out of her eating nacho, when she ate nachos one time, and it was the most repulsive
Oh,
thing.
yeah, and she had a whole nacho bar.
And she posted a picture with her and her fiance eating nachos.
You go, girl!
Yep, legit.
We
Anyways,
are Team Christine all the way.
and I'm team woman no matter what, except for in this
Yeah.
last one, because these two people, the terrible humans.
Do I have to watch Vanderpump Rules now?
I don't know. I never got into it. You like Real Housewives, so I feel like you'd like it.
I like Real Housewives of Salt Lake because
You
haven't
like the
gone
Mormon-
we
yeah.
haven't gone into this yet.
She's an ex-Momo.
I'm an ex-Mo.
Momo.
Don't talk about Momo. I lived through that with my children. That was horrifying.
One of the missionaries came to our door the other day. I swear we're gonna wrap this up, and just gonna keep going. And time, okay?
No,
We're
we're
making-
good.
we're making minutes.
This is what people want to hear. I keep telling
Yeah.
you, people want to hear this bullshit.
It is. This is a good bullshit.
I literally put it in the script as bullshit hour.
Yes. So it was 8:45 p.m. and there's
That has happened to me.
They ring the doorbell. My kids are all in bed, and it's two Mormon missionaries. And instead of being an asshole to them, I've learned to just be like, do you guys need anything? Do you need water? Do you need to make a phone
Didn't
call?
your
Do you need
husband
a
offer
snack?
them a drink?
So my husband goes to the door, and they're like, can we give you the words of Jesus Christ? And he goes, nah, I'm Australian. I don't believe in Jesus Christ, or something like that. And they're like, okay, well, and then I came down and I was like, hey guys, this is a neighborhood with a lot of moms. If you go knocking on doors, you're gonna piss some people off. I know you guys probably have some big families, so you can understand as a mother, probably don't knock on people's doors. I was like, but can I get you a glass of water or something? And Tex is like, or a beer. And they're like, no, but can we offer you a picture of Jesus Christ? And Tex goes, Nah, if I need one of those, I just look in the mirror. And they both died laughing. Like, they're 18-year-old kids. All right, now we're really shutting
All right.
up. We'll see you guys later. I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.
We have a couple of really cool episodes coming up. We have witchcraft, we have spirituality, we have full moons, we have astrology, we have...
Tarot.
Pagan holidays, man.
Delightful.
They're called the Sabbath series.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit here and drink for those. I don't know what's happening.
It's fine.
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Perfect.
You did a great job, Raina.
Thanks. Yeah, it was my first hosting.
Love it.
I mean, I didn't really we're both hosting, but
you
my
did.
first storytelling.
I like it.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of this you're going to cut out, to be quite honest.
A lot. Just kidding. Not too much. We'll find out. Anyways, all right.
All right. Have a good time. Have some lunatic soup. Not if you're driving. We will see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.